My mom walked out, started fresh somewhere else, and completely missed the fact that I was hospitalized. When I tried to reach out, she brushed me off, calling me dramatic. Now she treats me like I'm not even her real family. But here's the thing, I am her daughter. And the truth about why she left? It's darker than you'd ever guess. I'm 16F and live mostly with my dad, but I spend one weekend a month with my mom. My parents split up 3 years ago, and my mom moved in with my cousin. It was nice at first because I got to see her a lot. But about a year and a half ago, she introduced me to this girl, came out to me, and told me they were dating. Now they're engaged. A week later, she told me they were moving to Victoria, which is pretty far from where I live. It's a long drive, a ferry ride, and another drive to get there. That's why I can only visit her once a month. Ever since she moved, things between us have been really rough. We barely talk. Just a quick good morning text and a 5-minute FaceTime call at night. It feels like everything changed when she left, and it's been hard. I don't even enjoy visiting her anymore because it feels like I don't fit in with her and her fiance, but I still go because I thought she wanted to see me. And I miss her a lot. This weekend, I was in Victoria, and while I was studying, she was FaceTiming my cousin. They started talking about the wedding, and my mom said things like, her life is so much better since she left, how happy she is with her fiance, and how her fiance is her whole world now. She even said she can't wait to move on from her old life. Hearing that made me really angry. It felt like she's happier without me, and I'm part of that old life she wants to leave behind. She must have noticed I was upset because later that night she tried to talk to me. I didn't want to, but she kept pushing, saying she deserves to know what's wrong because I always seem so down when I visit. That made me snap, and I started yelling at her. I told her, I hate how you came out because it made my life worse and messed up our relationship. It feels like you're happier without me, and it sucks. That turned into a big fight. She said I was overreacting and didn't understand her side. Then she just left the room. But later I heard her crying when I walked past her room to go to the bathroom. The next morning, her fiance drove me to the ferry right after breakfast instead of after dinner like usual. Since then, we've only texted because I didn't want to talk to her. My dad and his girlfriend noticed I've been acting off, so I told them what happened. My dad got mad and said I shouldn't have said that to my mom, and his girlfriend called me an asshole for it. Before bed, I FaceTimed my mom to try to talk again, and she said, my happiness is yours, and if I'm the reason you're so depressed, maybe you shouldn't see me until you're ready. Now, I don't know if I was wrong to say what I did or what I should do next. My counselor is still in Barbados, so I can't talk to them, and my dad's at work. His girlfriend said she's staying out of it, and my cousin did too. I feel stuck and don't know how to fix this. Update 1. A lot has happened since I last posted, and honestly, I feel worse than ever. I wasn't planning to update, but everyone was so kind before, so I thought it might help to share what's going on now. I ended up calling my uncle because I was scared my dad had told him everything and that he'd be ashamed of me too. My uncle is gay, and he's always been my favorite. He picked me up after school, and we went to his apartment. Right away, he gave me a big hug because he could tell something was wrong. I told him what I said to my mom and why I said it, and that I was scared he'd be mad at me too if my dad had already told him. But he just said he wasn't mad and that he understood. We even played basketball at a nearby court until it was time for him to drop me off. That was the last time I felt genuinely happy because the rest of this month has been awful. The day after, I called my mom to apologize and try to talk about how I've been feeling. But instead of listening, she got mad at me for telling my uncle about what happened and said I shouldn't share things about her life without her permission. I apologized for both things, but she said it didn't matter and just hung up on me. Then her fiance texted me saying I should give my mom a few days to calm down. That just made me angrier because, she's my mom. I should be able to call her whenever I need to, right? I tried calling her again, but she declined my call, and I think she even turned off her phone after that. I haven't been able to sleep properly since everything happened with my mom. I feel like I messed things up with her for good. She's been texting me, but we haven't really talked, and it's been eating at me. I can't stop thinking about it, and it's even messing with my dreams. I keep getting this weird, heavy feeling in my stomach that comes and goes whenever I think about it. It's like I was right about being part of her old life, and I wish I could take back what I said to her. On top of that, I found out I was supposed to get a tetanus shot when I was 11, but for some reason I never did. My family isn't against vaccines, so my dad made me get it now because the doctor was pushing for it. Turns out I had a really bad allergic reaction to it, like so bad that I ended up in the hospital for a week. Apparently, it's super rare. So lucky me, right? It also messed up my exams. The worst part? My mom didn't even come to see me. She was going to a cabin with her fiance the next day, and when she called my dad and found out how bad it was, she just texted me, "I knew you'd be okay. If you're still there when I get back, I'll come right away." It made me want to stay in the hospital longer just to see if she'd actually show up. But she didn't. Everyone else came. My cousin visited every day. My dad's girlfriend even stayed overnight a few times. My nieces came, and even my boyfriend's and best friend's mom showed up. But not my mom. When I finally got out, all I got was a text saying, "So happy you're out of the hospital, baby," along with a selfie of her and her partner at the cabin. I couldn't stop staring at that photo. It made me so upset that I ended up smashing my phone. My dad's girlfriend got hurt in the process, and my dad set up an emergency meeting with my counselor. She's a psychologist, but I've always called her my counselor. I told her everything, and at the end, she said it sounds like I'm probably depressed and might need treatment. I got scared and asked her to tell my dad, which she did. She suggested we get a referral from our family doctor to see a psychiatrist for a proper diagnosis or to just start treatment with the family doctor. My dad freaked out and got the referral the next day. He even asked my mom to come to the appointment, but she said she couldn't make it. She just texted me to stay strong and said, "I'm the most important thing in the world to her. I don't know what to do. I don't want to take medication or anything like that. I just want my mom to love me the way she used to. If anyone has advice, I really need it because it feels like my mom isn't even hearing me anymore." The appointment is on Friday, and I'm really scared about what's going to happen. Update 2. I meant to update sooner, but things have been crazy. Right now, I'm in the hospital recovering from ankle surgery, and I've got nothing but time until I go home on Friday, so I figured I'd fill you in. The day after I posted, my cousin in law, she calls me her little sister, which is kind of sweet, drove me to my uncle's place. He gave me the biggest hug, and I just broke down crying. They helped calm me down, and I told my uncle about the psychiatrist appointment and how scared I was. Even though a lot of you said it would be okay, I couldn't shake the feeling that I've just been so unhappy and missing my mom so much. My uncle agreed to come with me and my dad to the appointment since my mom wouldn't be there. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. I felt so anxious and kept thinking about my mom. I didn't even want to go to school the next day, but I went anyway. I felt off all morning. That heavy feeling in my stomach wouldn't go away. The only time I felt okay was when I was with my boyfriend. Before lunch, I ended up falling asleep in class and got sent to the office. They called my dad, and he picked me up and dropped me off at my uncle's house. My uncle was already watching my niece, so I felt bad adding to his load, but I ended up napping with her, and he took this adorable photo of us sleeping together. When my dad came back, we headed to the psychiatrist. Long story short, the psychiatrist prescribed me a low dose of antidepressants. I've been taking them, and they've helped a little, but I'm still scared. I have another appointment next week because my counselor thinks I might need a higher dose. When I talked to my counselor about everything, she suggested doing a joint Zoom session with my mom to help me express my feelings with her there as a mediator. I wasn't sure about it at first, but some of you recommended it, and my counselor thought it could be a good step. So I called my mom. It was another short conversation, but she agreed to the session. All I had to do was send her the Zoom link, and we've got one scheduled for later. I had a Zoom session in our computer room so I could be alone. At first, my mom seemed really excited and said, "We can work through our issues and move past them." I don't want to go into all the details. Honestly, I can't even remember most of it. But it didn't go well at all. When my counselor mentioned how I haven't been spending much time with my mom said that if I went to UIC, I'd obviously live with her. I told her that after everything that's happened, I didn't even want to go to UIC anymore and would rather go to UBC because I feel like people there actually want me around. My mom said that was ridiculous because UIC is one of the best schools in Canada for software engineering, and UBC only has electrical and computer engineering, so I'd have to live with her if I wanted to stay on that path. She also kept saying how she'd spent over 10 years just being a mom, And now she finally understands herself and wants time to explore that, and I should appreciate that. At the end of the session, I told my mom how much it hurt me that she didn't visit me in the hospital or even call me. I told her I was scared I might die, and she just brushed it off, saying it wasn't that serious because it was just a vaccine, and vaccines protect us, so I shouldn't act like it was a big deal. That really upset me, and I muted my mic because I didn't want them to hear me crying. I ended up having a breakdown and ran to my dad and his fiance because I was sobbing. They said the session ended after that, but I don't know what they said to my mom or the counselor. Apparently, I cried so hard that I fell asleep on the couch while hugging my dad, but I don't remember any of it. My dad said I was crying really loudly. I think they carried me to their bed because when I woke up the next morning, I was in their bed, and my dad was sleeping on a mattress by the door while his fiance was on one by the bathroom. They said they did that to block me because they were worried I might try something. My dad also took my phone and laptop for a while, saying it might be good for me to take a break from them. I have them back now. Since then, I haven't talked to my mom at all, not even a simple good morning or good night text. She hasn't reached out about my broken ankle either. Even though I had surgery yesterday, I feel like she doesn't even care that I got hurt. My dad told her about the surgery, but she hasn't called or anything. I have my phone and laptop back now, but my dad made me delete Instagram and Snapchat because he's worried seeing her on there might upset me. A lot of you told me I should stop talking to her, but honestly, the thought of that just makes me feel worse. It's like if I do that, it's really over, and I'll have lost her for good. I just want her back in my life. The only way I even hear about how she's doing is through my cousin, who my mom stayed with after the divorce. And apparently, she's doing great busy planning her wedding. It's hard to hear that. Another thing that's been tough is that I used to love watching Scream with my cousin, but now I can't even get through it. I feel bad for Billy, the character, because his mom left him too, and it hits too close to home. It's weird because he's the bad guy, but I still feel for him. We couldn't even finish rewatching the old one, and we didn't get to the new one. I told my counselor how I'm still feeling really down and like nothing's gotten better. She said she talked to the psychiatrist about maybe increasing my medication dose. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm just confused and sad. I hate not seeing or talking to my mom at all. It feels like I messed up somehow. I've tried doing things with my dad's fiance and my boyfriend's mom that I used to do with my mom, but it's not the same. It just makes me miss her more, even though she probably doesn't miss me at all. I wish I could see her, but I'm scared to keep hurting myself by trying. What if she doesn't want me anymore? I'd usually talk to my counselor about all this, but I'm stuck in the hospital until Friday, so I guess that's why I'm here, asking for advice on what to do once I'm out. Update 3. Hey everyone, I'm back because I'm really confused about what's going on with my mom, and I wanted to get some thoughts before I talk to my therapist about it. Honestly, I can't tell if she still hates me or if she's trying to be my mom again because her actions lately have been so mixed and confusing. So, my foot is still not great. The doctor says it's healing, but I'm stuck using crutches or a wheelchair, which makes it hard to get around. I can go places, but it's such a hassle that I usually don't bother. I think my cousin must have told my mom about my injury because apparently my mom came to New Westminster to go wedding dress shopping with my cousin and her fiance, and she didn't even tell me. That really hurt because she promised me I'd get to be part of that. I only found out because when I visited my cousin, she showed me the dresses my mom had picked out for the wedding and reception, including ones for me to wear. I didn't know how to feel. I was upset that my mom didn't include me, but at the same time, I was kind of happy because it seemed like she still wants me to be part of the wedding. It's also confusing, and I don't know what to think. Her wedding was on Canada Day, and I went to Victoria with my cousin a week before. My dad said I didn't have to go, but I didn't want to miss it. We stayed at an Airbnb my mom booked for some relatives because her place was too small. She didn't come to see me there, but my cousin went to meet her. I didn't go because my foot was hurting really bad. When my cousin came back, she said my mom was disappointed I didn't come too. The next day, I was supposed to go downtown shopping with my cousin, but my mom showed up. When she saw me, she didn't hug me like she usually does, just held my shoulders, gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, and said she was glad I came. Then she handed me off to my aunt, her cousin, to go shopping with instead because she and my cousin were busy with wedding stuff. I love my aunt, so it wasn't bad going with her, and she even pushed me in my wheelchair, but It wasn't what I had planned. 2 days before the wedding, there was a big dinner where my mom and her wife introduced everyone to their families. My foot was swollen, and I had to use the wheelchair, so my mom didn't introduce me to anyone. At one point, a guy related to her wife asked who I was, and she just said, "Don't worry about her," and had my aunt wheel me away. That really hurt, but I felt a little better because her fiance's parents brought me gifts, though they were more for someone younger, so it wasn't really my style. The wedding itself was nice. My foot wasn't as swollen, so I could use crutches. My mom acted totally different and made me take a bunch of pictures with her and her fiance. She seemed so happy and told me it was the best day of her life because I was there. At the reception, I wore the dress she bought me, but I couldn't walk in it with crutches, so my aunt made me stay in the wheelchair even though I didn't want to. My cousin suggested I wear something else, but my aunt said my mom would be upset if I didn't wear the dress she got me. At the reception, I wasn't seated with the family near the stage. I was at a table with kids I didn't know, even though younger relatives were at the family table. My aunt said it was because of my wheelchair, but I didn't understand why I couldn't sit with my family. My mom didn't even take a photo with me at the reception. She just came over once to say hi, and I wasn't in the family photo because they didn't bring my crutches. My aunt said my mom told them to leave me out because they couldn't fit me in. The day after the wedding, we were heading home, and my mom came to say goodbye. She pulled me aside for a minute and apologized for everything that had happened between us before. She said she hoped we could move past it, but even if we couldn't, she was still glad I came to her wedding. I didn't really get a chance to say much because she just hugged me and sent us on our way. Honestly, I don't feel as sad about everything anymore. I think the antidepressants I've been taking are helping. I've been feeling happier for about a month now, and nothing bad has happened like I was afraid it might. For the past 2 weeks, my mom has been texting me good morning and good night again, even though I haven't reached out to her since our therapy session. It's just those texts, nothing more, but I've been replying. I'm just confused about why she's acting this way and what she really wants from me. Does anyone have any thoughts or advice? Edit. I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented and gave advice. I'm sorry I didn't respond to each of you personally, but it means so much to me that you all cared enough to share your thoughts. I've read everything, and I'll be bringing up a lot of this with my counselor. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Love you all. Update 4. So, my mom called me, and I picked up because I was curious. She's only been texting me since her wedding, but this time she asked me to come over. Even though I've been missing her, I said no because I was supposed to go to Seattle with my uncle's family that weekend. Honestly, I probably would have said no anyway because I've been trying to keep my distance, like everyone suggested, and my counselor said it might be good for me to figure out my life without her. She seemed okay with it, but the next day, I think she called my dad because he showed up and told me I had to go to Victoria instead. I didn't want to go, but we ended up arguing, and he said I didn't have a choice. He dropped me and my cousin off at the ferry, and when we got to Victoria, I found out my mom and her wife, I guess my stepmom now, had moved into a new house. Her wife wasn't there because she was working in Ottawa, but her parents were. They're super nice and kept saying how happy they were to have me as a grandkid since they didn't think they'd ever have one. They wanted to buy me presents, but my mom had them take me out for pierogi dinner instead. The visit was mostly good, but there was one really bad moment. I wanted to talk to her about her wedding and how I felt and tell her I'd rather have gone to Seattle with my uncle, but I got too nervous and didn't say anything. I felt like bringing it up would ruin the whole trip, so I kept quiet, but now I'm not sure if that was the right call. When I got to her house, the first thing I noticed was this huge graduation photo above the fireplace where she's holding me as a baby. Then she showed me my room, and it's amazing. Huge bed, private bathroom, walk in closet, a fancy desk, and a TV. Everything's white because she said when her foot gets better, we'll paint and decorate it together. She even promised no one else would use the room, even if I'm not there much. The first night after dinner, my mom, my cousin, and I stayed up late watching TV, and I even fell asleep hugging her. The next day, we went downtown, went shopping, and visited the Royal British Columbia Museum, the one with the mammoths. My foot and hands started hurting because my mom made me use crutches instead of the wheelchair for exercise, so she took us to a spa to relax. We took a ton of pictures, and I think she posted them on Instagram, but I'm not allowed on there anymore, so I'm not sure. I was so tired when we got back that I passed out right away. The next morning, my mom brought me pancakes in bed because of my foot. She knows I love when she makes those. The rest of the day was good too, except at night when she said we could have days like this all the time when I move in for university. I reminded her I might go to UBC instead, and we got into a huge fight. I ended up yelling at her and bringing up stuff from the past. So basically, my mom told me that if I'm set on studying software engineering, she really wants me to go to UIC. She said if I were interested in any other type of engineering, she'd be okay with paying for UBC. But she doesn't think UBC is the best choice for software. She made it clear she'd support me financially no matter where I go, but she'd be really disappointed if I didn't pick the best school for my degree and chose to stay with her, especially if my decision was based on blaming her for everything that's gone wrong since she came out and moved. She also told me I need to stop exaggerating how bad things have been because it shouldn't affect my university plans. I tried to explain that's not what I meant, but I couldn't find the right words, and I ended up crying. She didn't yell, but she seemed really frustrated and told me to stop crying, grow up, and accept that she did her best with the situation. She said my attitude was part of why this past year has been so hard for us. That just made me cry more. And then she said something like, if I don't grow up, I'm never going to get a husband, which felt really out of place. And then she left the room. I couldn't stop crying because I don't feel like any of what she said is true. And the husband comment really stuck with me. It was so weird, and I can't stop thinking about it. About half an hour later, she came back with water and made me drink some. She started talking again about how if I wanted to do computer or electrical engineering, she'd support UBC. But for software, UIC is the best option outside of Waterloo. She said she doesn't want to send me far away, but will still pay for it if that's what I decide. I didn't really feel like discussing it anymore, so I just agreed when she said she'd take me to talk to an advisor next time I visit to help convince me. My cousin and I left early the next morning, and my mom mentioned she'd try to come for my birthday because her in laws really want to be there. She also said she'd try to set up an appointment at UIC once my foot heals. The argument was the only bad part of the visit. Otherwise, everything felt like it used to be with her, and it was really nice. But I can't stop thinking about what she said during the fight. I don't even know why she brought up the husband thing. It was so random, and I don't get what she meant by it. I'm not going to smash my phone over it, but it still makes me mad when I think about it. I told my cousin about the argument on the way back, and she said she thinks I should go to UBC and would try to convince my mom. But she thinks my mom just wants me to live with her again. I also told my dad and his fiancée about it, and he apologized for making me go, but said he felt he had to. They've both checked on me a bunch of times since then. I still get that uneasy feeling in my stomach whenever I think about it, and I wish I could have gone with my uncle instead. But I'll be staying at his place for the rest of the week, so that's something. I'm planning to see my counselor again today before my uncle picks me up. Does anyone have any advice I can bring up during the session? We went through some comments here last time, so anything new would help. Update 5. A lot's been going on. Since I visited my mom, we've mostly just been texting good morning and good night. I didn't reply to her other messages, though, so she called my dad and he told me I should at least respond to her text. I ended up going to Victoria for Thanksgiving because her wife's whole family was there, and she insisted I come. I stayed for 3 days with my cousin. The first 2 days were great. My mom and I hung out like old times. We went shopping and even cuddled while watching TV. But on the third day, she and her wife were busy with dinner and guests, so I didn't get much attention. I was a little upset, but I understood since her wife's family was there. When we left after dinner, we had to take a late ferry. My mom said goodbye quickly and mentioned she'd book a meeting at UIC for us, but she didn't let me say much before we left. After that, it was back to just good morning, good night texts until my birthday. For my birthday, my mom and her wife came with her wife's parents, my step-grandparents, I guess. They're really nice and seem to like me a lot. My step-grandma even said the best part of their wedding was gaining a grandchild. They brought me a ton of gifts, and my mom gave me a photo album of us, saying I should look at it when I miss her. At the party, my mom and dad got along really well, laughing and joking like they used to. My mom's wife also got along with my dad's fiancée and my uncle's family, though my mom was weirdly cold to my uncle. She was also kind of awkward with my boyfriend, joking nonstop about us getting married and making her a grandma. She even told him, "Don't wait until I'm gray and in my 40s to make me a grandma." His mom joined in on the jokes, so I guess it was just a mom thing. My mom and her wife left after about an hour and a half to stay at a fancy hotel near Cole Harbor, even though my dad offered them a room. My mom said it wouldn't feel right staying in the house she designed with him. It bothered me because they showed up at 4, helped set up, and then left before the actual party really got going. My step grandparents stayed overnight and left the next morning when my mom picked them up. Later, around 8:30, my mom FaceTimed me, and it looked like she and her wife were at a spa or something fancy. She said she had to hang up because she didn't want me to see them without clothes, and they were both laughing. It really annoyed me that they skipped most of my birthday to go hang out at a spa. I don't even want to think about what else they might have been doing. Then there's the album my mom gave me as a gift. At first, I didn't think much about it because I was just happy she came to my birthday. But yesterday, I decided to look through it. My dad's fiancée was meeting with her relatives to plan their wedding. It's this Sunday. And I overheard them talking about me while I was grabbing my charger. My dad's fiancée said really nice things about me, but her relatives were saying some not so great stuff about my mom. And she didn't stop them. They also mentioned how my mom is pushing my dad to send me to her over winter break instead of my uncle's place because that's when they're going on their honeymoon. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, and I know they didn't think I'd hear, but it still made me really upset, and it still does. So, because I was feeling hurt, I went through the album. It's full of pictures of me and my mom from when I was a baby up until now. Behind each photo, she wrote a note about why that memory is special or what the picture means to her. But instead of making me feel better, it made me angry because there are so few photos from after she moved to Victoria. Most of them are from her wedding day, and there's hardly anything from before that. One photo stood out. It was taken about a month before she came out when she was living at my cousin's house. I surprised her with cookies my cousin and I made that day, and she hugged me so tight, telling me how proud she was of me. My cousin snapped a photo of that moment, but later that night, I found her crying in her room. She said it was because I was growing up too fast and that she wished she could freeze moments like that forever because she was so proud of me. Looking at the album now just makes me mad because that's the kind of relationship I want back. The fact that there are so few photos of us before her wedding and hardly any from her life in Victoria makes it feel like she's showing me proof that I haven't been a big part of her life and that I should be okay with it. I know I shouldn't think that way because the album is such a thoughtful gift, but I can't help feeling like I'm ruining it in my own mind instead of appreciating it. My therapist has been helping me figure out how to live my life without relying so much on my mom, and it's really hard. I don't want to let go of the hope that things could be good between us again, and I don't want the people talking about her to be right. My therapist says it's okay to want that, but for my own sake, I need to prepare for the possibility that it might not happen. She says it'll help me when I'm in university. I've been trying, but I hate it. So I guess I'm here again asking for advice and things I can bring up in therapy. Update 6. The day after my dad and his fiancée got married, I guess she's my stepmom now, I had to head to Victoria because my mom wanted me there. My cousin was supposed to come too, but she changed her plans last minute since her boyfriend got time off work, so they decided to go to Whistler instead. When I got to my mom's place, I was only there for about half an hour before I found out she and her wife were going to Ottawa for her wife's job. That meant I'd be staying with my step grandparents until Christmas weekend. I call them step grandparents here because it makes sense in this context, but in real life, I've started calling them Nana and Papa. Honestly, I had such a great time with them. I really love them both. Step Grandpa is a huge basketball fan and he loves the Lakers just like me. Step Grandma taught me how to knit, though I'm not very good at it yet. They made me amazing breakfasts and lunches every day, and we went out for dinner every night. They even live closer to UIC than my mom does, and they offered to turn a room into a study space for me if I end up going there. When my mom came back and I went back to her place, she told me she found out while in Ottawa that my dad and stepmom got me a new car for Christmas. My mom was kind of upset because she thought it was too much, and honestly, I was nervous too. I've never had anything that expensive before. But she talked it over with my dad, and it ended up being okay. On Christmas, they brought me the car, and it's really cool. I was super nervous to drive it, but I do like it. I left it in Victoria for now because I'm not ready to drive by myself yet. My mom went all out with presents for me, like a lot of them. It was overwhelming, to be honest. After Christmas, we went to see the new Disney movie Strange World because my mom and I both love those kinds of movies. In the movie, the main character is a teenager who has some issues with his dad and grandpa, and he's also gay. It's just part of who he is, and it's treated as totally normal in the story. But as soon as it became clear that the character was gay, my mom got really quiet and kind of shut down. When the movie ended, she just went straight to her room without even saying goodnight. Later, when I went to brush my teeth, I could hear her crying really hard to her wife. I know I shouldn't have eavesdropped, but I couldn't help it. She was crying about how it's so normal now for people to be open about who they are, and how she wishes she could have come out as a teenager and lived her life the way she wanted to. She talked about how she and her wife could have gotten married much earlier, and how she felt like she wasted so many years pretending to be a soccer mom. Hearing that made me feel really bad, and then I got mad too, so I just went to my room. The next morning, I was kind of prepared to talk about the movie, but my mom didn't even come out of her room. Her wife said she wasn't feeling well, and when I tried to say good morning, she stopped me because my mom didn't want me to see her like that. I could hear my mom throwing up, and when I said good morning through the door to check on her, she replied, but then started crying really loudly again. Her wife took me away because my mom didn't want me to hear her cry. I just stayed in the living room watching TV after that because I felt awful. It was my idea to watch that movie. Her wife kept going back and forth, trying to get her to eat something. She managed to eat a little bread, but then she threw that up too. It was a really tough day. Later, my step grandparents came over because they were worried about everything that was going on. To help distract me, they took me out for a drive. We even stopped at Dairy Queen, even though it was freezing outside. It helped to take my mind off things for a bit, but then step grandpa got a call from my mom's wife. I overheard him telling her to take my mom to the hospital, but my mom's wife said my mom would rather die than go there. She also mentioned how my mom didn't even visit her own parents in the hospital and didn't come to see me when I was there. When my step grandparents asked if that was true, I said it was about me and I couldn't help it. I started crying. They comforted me, and even though I felt embarrassed for crying in front of them, we ended up having a good day together. When they dropped me back home, my mom was on the couch. She called me over and gave me a really tight hug, like she was trying not to cry. She told me she wasn't feeling well and asked if I'd mind going back to my step grandparents the next day. Her wife suggested maybe I should go back to Vancouver and stay with my uncle instead, but that made my mom really angry. She started yelling about how my uncle has been trying to turn me against her and how he hates her because she doesn't have AIDS trauma. That didn't make sense to me because my uncle doesn't have AIDS, and I didn't understand why she brought that up. She went on about how my uncle needs to focus on his own granddaughter and stop trying to interfere with her life. Her wife tried to calm her down, but my mom just kept yelling, saying she wished my uncle would die and that it was the worst decision of her life to feel sorry for my dad and not just take me with her when she left. I had no idea she hated him that much. When I was younger, they were always so close, and my dad even joked about her stealing his brother. I started crying really hard because my uncle is my favorite, and that just made my mom even angrier. She yelled at me to stop crying, saying I cry more now than I did as a baby, and she brought up that thing about me not getting a husband again. Her wife finally took her to their room, and they left me on the couch. I was so upset I couldn't stop crying, and I just fell asleep there because I didn't feel like moving. The next morning, I woke up still on the couch, but there was a blanket over me and my head was in my mom's lap. I felt like crying again, but I held it in. Then, my mom actually apologized. She said she didn't know what had been happening to her since we saw the movie, but that was no excuse for yelling at me or making me feel bad. She said she was sorry for hurting me and for how she'd been acting all winter break. She even called her wife over and made her apologize to me too. After breakfast, we had a long talk about how she was feeling, and she seemed really sincere. She said she'd never get mad at me for crying again, and that she was sorry for taking her anger toward my uncle out on me. She admitted it was wrong to let me know how she felt about him, and that she shouldn't try to make me stop loving him. She said she knows I might not forgive her, but even if I do, she'll never forgive herself. She promised to try to change and be the person I need her to be so we can get back to normal. She even offered to let me go stay with my uncle, but for some reason I didn't say yes. I guess I felt like I still needed to stay with her. I also talked to her wife, and she felt really bad about what happened. She said she'd never seen my mom act like that before and just wanted to help calm the situation. She admitted she was wrong for not supporting me and said my mom was upset with her for not taking my side. She feels guilty about it and told me she's the one who put the blanket on me and stayed by my side until around 4 a.m. when my mom came and took over. She said she'd do anything to earn my forgiveness and that she regrets hurting me because I've become such an important part of her life. She's really thankful that I care so much about her parents. For the rest of the break, my mom was pretty quiet and didn't eat much, though she did start eating a little. My step grandparents came over every day to check on me. By New Year's, my mom seemed to improve a bit, but whenever I asked how she was feeling, she'd just say she was fine and that it was her job to worry about me, not the other way around. I went home the day after New Year's because school was starting, but I had to go back on Friday. I returned the Sunday night after a meeting at UIC. When I saw my mom again, she seemed different. Smaller, skinnier, and still sad, though she was trying to act happy. The meeting at UIC went really well, and it seems like a great place for school. Even though I'm not sure if I want to do engineering anymore, there are still a lot of opportunities there. My mom also made me sign up to visit UBC, SFU, and Langara. She mentioned that she and her wife are going to Ontario in February and suggested we could do a road trip together while her wife is working, checking out universities like Waterloo, McMaster, and U of T. She said she wants me to know I have options, but feels confident I'll end up choosing her. Aside from the meeting, though, she didn't leave the house at all. I went out to spend time with my step grandparents, and when I was home, my mom cuddled with me almost the whole day unless we were eating. Her wife told me she's been working from home. I'm not sure what to think about all of this. I don't know if this means my mom is going back to how she used to be, if she's going to keep changing, or if she's dealing with depression now too. I wasn't planning on sharing this, but I feel like I need some opinions on what might be going on with her.